Hey guys, it's me, Jessica, finally here with my coming out story. I know I've been telling a lot of people that I was gonna make a video, and I never did, and I think it's just I never had really, time to, sit down and actually, think about what I want to say. Here it goes. I came out to my mom when I was, 15 or 16, and that was I was going through a really tough time. I was basically, suffocating, and I remember, I don't even know how it happened, but I remember my mom telling me, she was like, if there's anything you need to tell me, you can always, write me an email or, a letter, and I'll read it, and I can write back. And I'm just, thinking to myself, this is someone that I love so much, and she's, honestly my best friend. I mean, she's not only my mom, but she's, my best friend. And I'm I can't write her an email or write her a letter. I'm it's something I have to say to her face, I need to, she deserves that much. So, I just remember one day, actually it was one night, I just remember sitting her down and, telling her, I'm gay. And it was, such a breathless moment, I almost couldn't even say the word gay, even though I knew I was. And she just looked at me, and she was like, I know. And I was just like, you know? And she's like, yeah. She's like, I've known for a while, and she's like, I've just been waiting for you to tell me. And I was just like, why couldn't you just say something, and then this wouldn't have had to been so awkward, and then I wouldn't have had to sit there for 5 minutes and think about what I was going to actually say. It's so funny, because you think of, this whole speech that you're going to say before you tell your parents something, this important, and then it usually ends up when you're face-to-face, you're just you just shouted, I'm gay! But, yeah, so, I knew that I wasn't going to have any trouble with, telling my mom I was gay. It was more or less my grandparents. After I told my mom that I was gay, then I told my cousins, and I knew it wasn't going to be a problem because, they would accept me no matter what. And they accepted me just like I knew they would, so the rest of my family really wasn't a problem to tell. The ones that were the hardest were my grandparents. It was so hard for me to go out and tell my grandma and my grandpa, and I told myself I wasn't going to tell them unless I had a really good reason. I knew for sure, because I didn't want that whole, well, maybe it's a phase, thing to come up and stuff. I wanted her to know, and I didn't come out to them until just recently, earlier this year, in January. I remember she came out on Christmas Day to her parents, and I knew that, I needed to do this. So actually, a couple days after she came out to her parents, I decided that, okay, I need to say something to them. I didn't want her to have to be a secret, and I didn't want to have to lie to my grandparents when she came over to, just pretend she was a friend. I wanted them to know that she was this really, special person to me, and that I didn't want to disrespect them in their house and lie. I remember I went to my grandpa first, because I knew he was going to be the easiest. And I remember sitting down in the chair next to him, and I just told him, I was like, I need to talk to you, and he was like, okay. And I was like, it's really hard for me to tell you this, and I'm like, I know that you guys would love me no matter what. And he was like, well, just say it. And I was like, I'm gay. And he was like, yeah, I know. I'm just like, what the fuck is with everyone knowing and no one tells me anything? I mean, in the end, he was very understanding about it. He didn't say anything, hurtful, or he told me he'd love me no matter what, and just as long as I was happy, he would be happy. And then that's when I told him about who I was seeing and how I wanted his, sounds so stupid to say blessing, but I wanted his permission, I guess, to be able to bring her to the house. And, that's the basic reason why I came out. to my grandparents. So I think my grandma kind of knew when I finally decided to tell her. She kind of knew what was going to, be said. And I remember she was in my room and she's sitting in this chair at this computer. I remember I couldn't even find the words to even say anything to her because I knew that I was going to do it that night. And I just remember telling her that I need to talk to her, and she was like, I know. I'm like, you mean the world to me, and I don't want to hurt you, and I'm not doing this to hurt you or spite you or anything. And I'm like, but I'm gay. And she cried. It was like the hardest thing to see her cry. She wasn't hurtful. She just asked a lot of questions. And I think the thing that hurt me the most was, she was like, well, I'm crushed because now I can't buy you your white dress, for when I get married. And I'm just like, that doesn't mean anything. And I'm like, just because I like girls doesn't mean that I'm, like, totally gonna cut my hair off and be a dude. Her fear was just that I was totally gonna change after this. Like, I know it was. And, she, being old-fashioned, really didn't get it. But, after we cried, because I was crying by that time, and, I just kept telling her that, I was the same person. And then, she hugged me, and she told me that as long as I was happy, she didn't care who I ended up with. And it was very emotional because for the first time in my house, I could actually be who I wanted to be and not have to hide who I was. It was a really big time for me, and it was something I was very proud of. There's so many things that could have happened, that went wrong, but I'm really lucky to have a family that supports me no matter what. So that's pretty much my coming out story. A lot of people ask me for advice on how to come out to their family. I really don't think that there's like one set thing that I could tell you, because everyone's situation is different. I think the one thing that I could say is just you need to be straightforward with them. You need to be understanding of their feelings. You need to know that it might take time for them to understand, what you just told them. It's a lot. It's a lot of information to take in at once. My grandma at first was, skeptical. Of course, when she saw me and my ex together, she knew that was who I was. She used to tell me all the time that, I've never seen you so happy. And it's because I was myself. And I didn't have to hide it from her anymore. And you just have to give it time. Not everyone's story is going to be easy. Some people have it easy, some people have it hard. But you just have to be strong. And I know I say this a lot. If you haven't read the book Same Sex in the City, I would really highly, 2 thumbs up, read it. Because if I would have read that book before I came out, things would have been really, different. It would have been so much easier. I would have known so much more things about myself. It really changed my life, and I really, really recommend it. I know I've recommended it to a lot of people, and they've emailed me telling me that, oh my God, thank you for telling me about this book. It's a really amazing book. So if you are curious, lesbian, gay, I guess it's not really going to be anything for guys, but, read this book. I guarantee you, it'll change your life in one way or another, and you'll see yourself differently, and you'll understand things, and learn things, and I think it's a really good book that everyone should read before, if you haven't got a chance to come out to your parents yet. So, on that note, I hope everyone has a lovely day. I love you guys. Thank you so much for all your support on my Tumblr and on my YouTube. And yeah. Love you guys. Bye.